Republican Fred Karger, who is the first openly gay candidate for president of the United States.
Welcome back to Harvard. We have Fred Karger. He's running for the Republican presidential nomination even as we speak.
The U.S. has its first openly gay candidate.
You are a relative unknown to many. A lot of people may just be hearing your name right now.
Sitting next to Terry in Los Angeles, Republican consultant Fred Karger.
He's the executive vice president of Dolphin Group.
They are a political consulting firm, and Fred representing primarily Republicans.
I think you're going to see this momentum continue. I think the public has been pleased with the progress that the Republicans have made.
I predict that Senator Dole is going to pick Colin Powell as his running mate, and you are going to have an excitement that spreads across the country.
I mean, do you know for a fact that this conversation is being held between Mr. Powell and Mr. Dole?
Not in the least.
Who are you, Fred Karger?
I worked for 9 presidential campaigns. As I retired 8 years ago and became very active on Proposition 8, I came out of the closet.
Fred who, you might be asking? Well, that's exactly the way that he's been selling his campaign.
Fred Karger joins me now from Sacramento in California.
Fred, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, great, we got you loud and clear then.
What's the news?
I just left the Federal Election Commission office at 999E, and I submitted my paperwork. I filed to run for President of the United States.
You would be the first openly gay president of the United States. Why do you think that's important?
I've dedicated today to the 6 younger people, teenagers who committed suicide last fall.
The first openly gay candidate. Do you think it's a vote-winning phrase, Fred?
Well, yes, in certain circles. And, you know, it gets me a seat at the table being the first openly gay candidate for President of the United States in history. But, you know, I'm a lot more than that. I'm a moderate Republican trying to bring younger people in.
How much do you want to talk about the gay issue, and how much do you want to talk about being president?
I'm the only full equality candidate running, including President Obama, so it's the part of me. But now I want to talk about education reform. I want to talk about jobs first.
Fred, do you think America is ready for a gay president?
Well, you know, we had our first gay president about 150 years ago, James Buchanan.
Have you always been a Republican?
I'm afraid I have, but a very different kind of Republican.
What is it that makes you a Republican?
I have been a fighter in my party. I have always been on the more moderate side, but I also am a protege of Lee Atwater's. I work with him, who coined the term Big Tent. We need to open up this party. I'm pro-choice. I am for immigration reform. I want to be a different kind of Republican, the kind of Republican I grew up with.
Despite all of that, how come you've been left out of all the debates?
Fox News is barring this man from its Republican presidential debate simply because he is gay. Fred Karger meets all of Fox's requirements for being in the debate.
Have you seen any indications, hopeful indications from your perspective that things are about to change?
The day before I filed in Washington, I met with all the hierarchy of the Republican National Committee in their offices, offered all the facilities of the RNC to me, just like every other candidate.
Let me go to Fred Karger. Why do they continue to serve a party that will not even give lip service to the rights of the people who work so hard for them?
My problem, Chris, has been with these third-party groups like the Brian Fishers of the world, the American Family Association, the National Organization. They're the ones that are
You mean the allies?
Everything. Let's face it, every other candidate up there said that they believe in a constitutional amendment to make marriage between one man and one woman.
And 4 have even signed just this hideous pledge by the National Organization for Marriage.
Secret tactics exposed, aimed at defeating marriage equality. Joining me this morning is Fred Karger, the one who called for the Maine investigation, and co-founder of the National Organization for Marriage, Maggie Gallagher.
I saw that they had spent $500,000 in Maine, and they hadn't reported where their donors came from.
Now this week, the debate over the Affordable Care Act has taken center stage here in Washington.
I think it should be left to the states. We've had a success in Massachusetts. I give Governor Romney credit for that. I think each state is very different. We should have a 50-state plan.
2 things you are emphasizing: legalizing pot and lowering the voting age to 16.
All right. I can't believe we're letting 18-year-olds vote, because I recall being 18 and I didn't have a thought in my head.
With the internet and new media now, these kids know a lot more than certainly we did when we were their age. They're informed. I want to empower you.
Of course, New Hampshire, the first primary state, takes great pride in that. You know, people like myself are here. We're going to be invading the state. And so I think to send a message to college students, we don't want you to vote, we think your vote is frivolous, is a gigantic error.
You came out only 2 years ago. Why'd you wait so long?
I've always been involved behind the scenes in gay civil rights, but never out front. And when Prop 8 reared its ugly head, I came to that battle.
Our list, which we call a dishonor roll, is made up of 1,200
donors to Yes on 8, individuals, businesses who gave $5,000 and over. We're going after the big contributors.
Yeah.
It's public information.
From what I know of your campaign, you've been involved in different sides of Republican politics for a very long time, but you've made this decision this year that you are going to run for president. If you don't get the nomination, what are you hoping to achieve with your candidacy?
I want to send a message to younger kids out there who happen to be gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, or queer. You can do anything you want to do. You can even run for president. I've received thousands of emails and Facebook messages commending me, thanking me, saying how it's making their lives better.
We'll look forward to checking in with you later to see if it's going the way you hoped.
Interesting guy, and you met him here first on Fox 40.
Republican presidential candidate Fred Karger, thank you for your time tonight, sir. I really appreciate it.
You got a hell of a sense of humor, Fred. You're laughing at every one of my comments here. I like you already.